Prime Minister Narendra Modi must have heaved a sigh of relief on 8th of February 2025 as he conquered the capital city's government. This was the one citadel that had eluded his grasp since he captured India's political space in 2014. His chagrin was compounded because he had swept successive Lok Sabha elections in Delhi in 2014 and 2019, but was wiped out in the state polls that followed a few months later by Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party, AAP, an upstart. But the upstart had the gall to reduce Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, to low single digits in the 70-member assembly. The irony was inexplicable. Janasangh, which was the predecessor to the BJP, that had won Delhi nearly half a century, and that was won in the teeth of the Indian National Congress's overwhelming national dominance. While the Janasangh was a cipher across India, very tiny cipher, but it actually boasted of a chief minister in the capital. So I'm sure this question must have haunted Modi. Why can I not win our oldest bastion of Delhi, even as I have wrested India from the Congress? Now, of course, that question has vanished from his victorious mind. Let's turn to Arvind Kejriwal, the giant killer who was slain in his own bailiwick in New Delhi. As he licks his wounds, he must be asking, what did I do to deserve such a humiliating defeat, even in my constituency? Well, for one, Arvind Kejriwal should take solace from the fact that a defeat in politics is, merely a re-strategizing pause. You learn your lesson, you refresh, and you relaunch. I'm sure his loyalists will remind him that Indira Gandhi lost in her pocket borough of Rai Bareli in 1977, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee was vanquished in Gwalior in 1985, and both went on to become prime ministers. Also, why go so far back in history? Just a few weeks ago, Donald J. Trump, soundly defeated in 2020, bounced with the most astonishing comeback in American history. So, defeat is just a semicolon in politics. Arvind Kejriwal's vote share is, nearly equal to that of the BJP in Delhi. He won by 8 percentage points among the poor, and this is CSDS as the source. Even more critically, he won by 6 percentage points in the 18 to 22-year-old cohort. This is a C voter report. AAP had a 6 percentage point lead among women as well. And this again is a CSDS reported data point. The poor and the young, these are the change agents. And they still seem to be by Arvind Kejriwal's side. What's more, his approval rating, surprisingly, is just a notch below Modi's. While 7 in 10 said they were happy with the centre's performance, almost 6 in 10 also endorsed Kejriwal's state government. Of course, he needs to worry that almost 2/3 of the electorate thought he was corrupt. Now, this is not as much because of the liquor scam, but what can I say? I can only use a strong phrase. His harebrained move to build a luxury palace, the Sheesh Mahal, for himself. Having said all of that, what should give him balm is that nearly a third, 1 in 3, still believes that he was framed and trapped. So he certainly has to make the effort to rebuild, but the bones of the rebuilding are in place. Finally, let me turn to the third player in this equation, Rahul Gandhi's Congress. At a 4% vote share in the assembly poll, which they had in 2020, they sort of knew they were not in the race. Never has a party catapulted from 4% to 40%. 40% is sort of the minimum winning percentage. No one's done it in just one cycle. Therefore, it was thus futile to play for victory in this round. So they thought perhaps a more shrewd strategic move would be to emaciate Aam Aadmi Party. That's exactly what the Congress did. They fielded their strongest local candidates against Aam Aadmi Party's heavyweights. So anecdotal evidence shows that had the Congress not done this, AAP may have won close to 13 additional seats, 13, and perhaps been in power, perhaps would have won for a third successive stint. And the Congress too would have won one seat, the Kasturba Nagar seat, because had it not been for the AAP candidate, Congress would have won that. So now the question arises, why does a softened Aam Aadmi Party benefit the Congress? Well, quite simply, AAP has taken large chunks of the traditional Congress voters in Delhi, Punjab, Goa and Gujarat. If AAP were to weaken, it would be, in a sense, advantage Congress on two counts. They could bargain harder for future alliances, given that their vote base would seamlessly transfer from one to the other. And in parliament polls, Lok Sabha polls, historical data shows that the Congress could perform better in Delhi even after getting battered in state elections. Now, just look at what happened in 2019-20, where the Congress got more votes in Delhi than Aam Aadmi Party in the Lok Sabha, even as it plummeted in the state elections, that followed a few months later. So the Congress could do what the Congress does in Tamil Nadu. I call it doing the DMK. Sort of build a medium-term alliance with AAP, be more generous in sharing seats in the state elections, but bag a bigger number in the 2029 parliament elections. So now that the chessboard is laid out, how should the big three, Modi, Kejriwal and Rahul, how should they plan their next moves? Prime Minister Modi, he should be worried by two dramatic statistics. His party led by 15 percentage points among old voters. This is from C-voter data. And by an incredible 30 percentage points among rich households. This is from CSDS. Now, it's a sort of alarming truism that if you get extraordinary support from old and rich voters, there is a danger that you could stultify into being a status quoist political force. Now combine this with the fact that even in this spectacular victory, Modi trailed among the poor and the young. Now the poor and the young are the motor spirit of revolutionary change in a democracy. So that status quoist tag that I spoke about, that gets a bit stickier on Prime Minister Modi with this kind of data. I think Prime Minister Modi should recall, his scintillating address at Shri Ram College in Delhi University in 2013 when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. That scintillating address had sprung him on the national stage as a can-do guy. His rousing, aspirational speech had students cheering so loud that it broke the internet. Its echo reverberated throughout the country, and that made Modi a political icon of young India. He should now ask, why are young voters, why did they rapidly shift towards Rahul Gandhi? And this is data from the Center for the Study of Developing Societies, CSDS. This is the survey that they had done after the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Why did his Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, ABVP, why did they lose the Delhi University Students' Union DUSU poll to the Congress's National Students' Union of India, NSUI, in the summer of 2024, right after the Lok Sabha elections? Why does even C-voters survey for Delhi, the recent election, show the BJP trailing Aam Aadmi Party by 6 percentage points? As I told you, 6 percentage points among the 18 to 22-year-old cohort. The Prime Minister, he is a truly consummate politician. And therefore, the answers to these questions that I've just asked, he'll figure that out. He needs no further prompt. Now, for Arvind Kejriwal, it is the time to recalibrate who his primary political target should be. Until now, he's been fighting an equally powerful battle against the BJP and the Congress. I mean, if anything, he has treated the Congress as a bigger adversary, since he demolished the Congress to build his fortress in the capital and in Punjab. But defeat can and defeat does change the landscape. Kejriwal should now build an alliance, and I dare say, an alliance with Rahul Gandhi. And they must put old injuries and mistrust behind them. There's a cliche in politics. It says, politics is the art of the possible. Congress and Aam Aadmi Party, I concede, should and must remain implacable foes in Punjab. But in Delhi, Goa and Gujarat, they should bury the animosity and do a win-win deal. Both he, Arvind Kejriwal, and the Congress must learn to stoop to conquer. Finally, I must end with another political cliche, and this time it's for Rahul Gandhi. The cliche goes, there are no permanent friends or enemies in politics. There are just permanent interests. Having spent a lot of political capital in wounding Aam Aadmi Party, the Congress, I believe, must now call for a halt to that strategy. It should agree with AAP that except for Punjab, the Congress and AAP will pool their political capital in a coordinated assault on the BJP. Every data point shows that there is a fertile political ground for both of them amongst the poor, the young, Dalit, and minority segments of the electorate. That's a pretty significant chunk of the electorate. They're coming together to woo this constituency will have a chemically, not merely mathematical, not a 2 plus 2, 4 kind of impact, but a chemical impact in which 2 plus 2 could be 22, a chemically additive impact. So it's clear from what I've just told you that Delhi's electorate has given a very sharp political message to the three big political players. The message for Prime Minister Modi is that he needs to listen to what the poor and the young are telling him. For Arvind Kejriwal, it's asking him to choose one adversary and not fight a two-front war. And for Rahul Gandhi, it's the time for new tactical alliances, unburdened by past animosities. And I call this the stoop to conquer phase in Indian politics. This was Raghav's take today.